The history and origin of RC cars and why they're so popular. RC cars date back to the early 20th century. In the 1930s, a pair of Californian brothers named Jack and Kenneth Hogg created a remote-controlled toy car with a radio-controlled mechanism. These original remote-controlled cars had a lead weight in the nose of the car which was used to balance it while it ran. RC cars have come a long way since then. What are RC cars made of, and how do they operate? RC vehicles have been around since the 1920s. The first RC vehicle was a model airplane, created by a company called Waco. In 1928, Waco built a boat and a steam-powered tractor, the first RC vehicles with wheels. RC cars, also known as remote control vehicles, are small toy vehicles that are controlled by a transmitter. The transmitter sends signals to the receiver on the car, which interprets these signals to determine its direction and speed. The American origins of the remote-controlled car. RC cars are a popular toy that has been around for many years. Some people may think that there is not much history to RC cars, but they have a long and interesting history. They were first introduced in the 1920s by an inventor named Henry Radio Control Thompson. The remote-controlled car was invented in America in 1899 by an engineer named Henry H. Taylor with his invention of the steam buggy. The first remote-controlled car was powered by steam and could move around a room. RC cars in the early 1900s until 1939. The first steam-powered car was created in 1867, but the first self-propelled, wheeled car that could be called a car was made by Carl Benz in 1886. The first model of an RC car was created in 1898, but it wasn't until 1939 that the first RC car was sold. Throughout the years, RC cars have had significant improvements, with some changes being more necessary than others. One of these changes is the addition of a steering wheel, which is now standard on most models. After World War II until now, race car tracks are popular destinations for enthusiasts who want to take their Toyota RC car out for a spin. Ever since the end of World War II, there has been a huge change to cars and the way we make them. The first post-war car was the Volkswagen Beetle, and it was designed for everyone. After that, there were more gas guzzlers like Cadillac and Lincoln. And then in '69, Toyota released their first compact car, the Toyota Corolla. The history of radio-controlled cars. Introduction. How did radio-controlled cars get their start? RC cars have been around for over a century and have evolved to what we know today. Remote-controlled cars date back to the 1930s when they were used by the military. They were first used in World War II for reconnaissance purposes, but their use soon became widespread. Radio-controlled cars started when the U.S. Army Air Force needed a way to adjust their radar antennas. Radio-controlled cars were a solution that was eventually patented in 1947. The first generation of RC cars. RC cars have been a toy for people of all ages for generations to come. Their popularity can be seen in the number of RC car toys produced every year, and the number of RC competitions that take place during the year. The first generation of RC cars was introduced in the 1970s, and they have been continuously evolving since then. In the 1970s, first-generation radio-controlled cars were introduced to the market by Matchbox Toys Limited. In this generation, there was no remote control but instead, an antenna inside the car transmitting to a receiver unit with a spark plug attached to it. This spark plug needed to be turned on manually before you could use it, and radio waves were used instead of infrared light pulses that are used today. RC cars are a lot of fun and a great way to spend time with your family. The first generation of RC cars is often referred to as stick-shift models. They have a simple transmission with 2 forward gears and 1 reverse gear. Using the stick shift, it is possible to control the car's speed by changing the gear ratio for each gear. This type of transmission is typically seen on electric-powered remote-controlled cars because it allows for an easy transition from low-speed driving to high-speed driving due to how quickly they can accelerate. The first generation of RC cars was produced to use them for racing with other cars. The first cars were introduced in the 1970s, but are now being used as toys. Second generation RC cars. First generation RC cars were popular in the 90s. They had a large and heavy controller that needed to be plugged into the car. Second generation RC cars are smaller and easier to use than their predecessors. Second gen RC cars offer a variety of benefits. They're smaller and lighter than first gen RC cars, so they're easier to carry around and store in your home or apartment. They require less maintenance because they don't have as many parts as first-gen RC cars, such as gears and shafts. And you can upgrade them with newer features like Bluetooth, longer range, better cameras, etc. Radio-controlled cars have been around for over 100 years. The first model was created in 1898 by H.J. Round in the UK. His electric car was cut down to size, driven by a friction motor, and fueled by electric current from a dynamo that would be powered off of an overhead wire. Third generation RC cars. RC cars are powered by electric motors. The third generation RC cars are faster, more functional, and feature-rich than their predecessors. They come with upgraded features such as new suspension, shock absorbers, tires, etc. The third-gen RC vehicles are also easier to control because of the inclusion of a digital proportional transmitter or one with a 2.4 GHz or 5 GHz system for long-range operation. Third-gen RC cars are the next big thing in RC vehicles. With all of the new features and advancements, it's no wonder these RC cars are so popular. With third-gen cars, you can do things that were impossible before, such as using a smartphone to control your car and making long-distance races easier than ever with remote control towers. Fourth-gen RC cars. RC racing is a hobby that has been around since the 1920s. Back then, the vehicles were made out of wood and powered by steam engines. Today, fourth-gen RC cars are made of high-grade plastics or carbon fiber, materials that are much lighter and durable than the old-fashioned options. The future for this industry is bright. As the industry continues to grow, so does the need for technology and innovation to keep up. Inventors continue to find new ways for RC cars to perform better, faster, and smarter. To facilitate this innovation, some companies are using more than one type of technology instead of just one. For example, some use both AI and IoT. The future is bright for the RC car industry, as long as they embrace this rapid technological change. Over the past few decades, radio-controlled cars have become more and more advanced. The latest generation of RC cars is characterized by a wide range of features and advancements. There is an unprecedented focus on safety, and the learning features in these cars make them a perfect gift for children.